Good morning. Hello. Happy Tuesday. Hello, stacking. You ready here? You ready? Ready to learn with laser focus. Also, hello, Isitsu. Yeah, that's well, we're doing some fun stuff today too, because we're getting into extractors, which is gonna be fun. I guess we were doing extractors yesterday, but we're doing handlers and headers and other stuff. My mouse is on the wrong screen. Let's see here. So we're on handling headers. Oh, and then middleware, which is middleware, I think, is the first one where it gets a lot harder. But I think that's because we have to create your own stuff. I'd have to go look at the how we did our middleware to remind ourselves. But the headers, I think, is a lot easier. If I remember correctly, we're just going to get the headers, and then um, that is a hash map where we can then get the headers out of it by key pretty easily. Hello, Stephen. Good afternoon. How are you doing today? Just remember, this is the part of the video that will require major refactoring when 0.16 comes out. Oh, the headers part, right? Because things are changing soon. Do they have a list? Let's see. It's so weird that Axum doesn't have a dedicated homepage, like a documentation page, the same way that uh Tokyo has. Like come here and it's like documentation, repository, there you go to the repository website or anything, nothing like that. Just a Safi. Hello. That weirded you out today about Axum 2. It you know what is like the weirdest part, because yesterday I started uploading the videos to YouTube finally. And so I went online to see, like, okay, does Axum finally have a like easy to find logo? No, no logo for Axum. I don't want to use Tokyo, so I'm just using the crates, like the crates logo, and I'm using Rust, and that's it. So it's a thing. The extractor part, they're changing state and making the order a compiler error. Okay. So for the extractor part, they're changing state. Um, that might make it, well, I mean, from what I understand, everything that they're going to do is going to make it easier. And they're going to make it like more of a like error earlier, as opposed to, oh, well, it sort of kind of works but doesn't really, and good luck. Okay, so if I want to go in, let's actually open up our documentation as opposed to this documentation. So are we still in routing? We are still in routing. Cargo doc. Is there a thing just to get the link? Because I use a default browser on the other windows. That way, if I click on something, it goes over there by accident instead. And then I can like manually move it over here. But that is kind of annoying. But whatever. Did I add new stuff? Oh, I added Serde. That's why. Okay. It's for the better, but it's listed as a major breaking change and will change multiple APIs. Yeah, and that's like it's one of the problems of going early, like being before the gap, as it were. But it's that's the risk you take, and it's one of the reasons why I hesitate to tell anybody like, yeah, put your company's production level APIs on anything besides like Actix Web. But for learning, Axum, I do like it a lot. So I think like getting on it is getting ahead of like the wave. The question is it too ahead? Do we know when it's happening? I don't think like a lot of open source maintainers, heck, a lot of companies are learning the hard lesson to not declare times because they're so often wrong, and then they set expectations. If we go to uh, Axum, let's just go to their GitHub. Let's see if they have a Let's see what they have here. So see their releases. Uh, branch tags. Where can we find? Is there Okay, we have milestones. So 0.6. Yeah, no due date. But they're 93% complete with 3 open issues still. So these are the 3 things they still need to work on for before they would be comfortable releasing 0.6, it looks like. And one reviewed approval. This one has like no comments at all, but it has a pull request. Oh yeah, these 2 are pull requests, and this is just an issue that nobody's even discussed at all. So they still need to work on this. Okay, they haven't defined some of the stuff. So there's some unknowns that are still needed to be worked out, which delays it significantly. If it was just like, yep, it's gonna be out tomorrow, which would be like these 2 things kind of make it look like it's gonna be very, very, very soon. But this is a big unknown. I think they have it in tags as RC2. Yeah, if we go let's see, where is that? They have releases. Where are the tags? I keep on forgetting where the tags are. Are they in Here it goes. Tags. Yeah. 06 RC2. The last one was on September 11th. That was a while ago. Whereas you can see Axum 5.17 came out 5 days ago. Well, it'll be interesting. The plan is that I remove the older videos from the playlist when they get updated with like new versions of them, and hopefully this one should be easier. I'm thinking about not including the project in the playlist for this one, and instead just putting a separate playlist of my going through the project separately. Okay, so they must have hit a major block that pushed it into blocking state. It's Well, I mean, I'm not on any of the discords or anything to sort of like see any of the chatter going back and forth. Although that would be interesting to sort of see that. I wonder, do they have a Discord? I should probably join it. I guess it would be a Tokyo Discord, right? Discord channel. Join Tokyo. Okay, what do we have? So we have Tokyo, Hyper Tracing. Oh, in their lives they have Axum. Cool. I'll keep an eye on this. I'll probably end up muting most of them except the Axum one, so I can sort of keep an eye on it. Just to see about the updates for it. Okay, headers. I want Axum. You don't have headers here. Where was that? It was the header types, a parsed header. So here, okay, so the Axum extract, request parts headers. Uh, oh yeah, and it's a header map, which then we can extract out. And do they show how to use this? I don't think it was request parts. So we have extract. Maybe it was. Kind of want to go look at what I did before. So we have backend project solution source. All right, so I believe we'd use this for the most in the middleware. So middleware. Oh, so it was this request T. Okay, so use Axum HTTP request T, and then we can do request.headers.get, and we have to do this entire thing. That's fun. Okay. So that was request, which is off of this request. Interesting. Okay. So then there's get to get like headers off of it. And if I remember correctly, doing the request from that, there's also the typed header extractor. Yeah, I never ended up using that. Where was that? There was the Oh, header map is a multi-map of header name to values. I mean, that seems like it would work. All right, well let's do a quick experiment and figure this out. So under routes, we're going to create a new what are we calling this? We are calling this handling headers. So I probably want to actually have this be like extracting headers, like getting headers. So I guess like maybe we'll call this like mirror headers. Service, we can do a get. You'd use something like type header user agent as an extractor. Not sure about using it for custom headers though. Oh, right. That's why I had to do it because I was using a custom header. So really there's two things here. The typed headers is the headers that like everything is getting. But if it's something like x dash auth token, which is what we were doing, then custom headers is where it's at. I vaguely remember that now. Okay, so if I run this, run routing, yeah, we should be fine. No, don't need to open the docs again. Just run you. I think it was called mirror headers. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So mirror headers with this, I want to add in a mirror header. So, I mean, we could read the user agent, and that would be the typed headers, right? So, can I do? So we have header map, header name, header value, but none of these are under extractor that I'm noticing. And so I don't really believe they're going to work. We could do the request. Oh, request parts. What did I use again? I just did the full request. I just got the full request here. So not the request parts. Okay, so um, let's. Now these aren't showing them in. These are like creating a new header map, which is not helpful for me. Now, I vaguely remember that the documentation for the header stuff is the worst of like all the documentation for everything else. So I think Were there examples? I think there are some examples. Did I miss it? Where was there? Here it is. And I want something to do with headers. Ha. Okay, so there's no examples that use the word header in here. Well, that's lovely. Okay. What was the one you were doing? The typed header extractor. So let's go find that one. So where's the extractors? Yeah, be careful when extracting request because then it's gone. So common extractors. Okay, typed header. Oh, also like headers user agent. Oh, and header map. Okay, so if I do Axum HTTP header map, does that work? Header map gives you all the headers. Okay, maybe that'll work. Headers, header map. Hedgen, welcome, everybody. Thank you for the raid. And how was your stream today? What were you working on? I think last I saw you were making more games, or were you playing games from the last game jam? I can't remember, but it did look fun. It went well. Awesome. Well, that's great to hear. Um, you just did some review and Metroidvania background art. Oh man, I wish I was good at that kind of art stuff because I feel that would improve the games that I've made uh by a tremendous amount. But I ended up just making very bad shapes. And then you were playing games from the game jam too. Oh man, that sounds a lot of fun. I wish I had time to participate in those game jams. You're also not good, but you're learning. Well, keep it up because any of those skills, like if you have time to work on them, they're those are fun to have, and it's fun to be able to like see what you make, and it's just like it's there. It's great. What we are working on today is creating sort of lessons that are going on to YouTube for Axum. Axum is a backend framework with for Rust. It's a backend API framework specifically. So if you want to send HTTP requests and have your server in Rust, Axum is a good choice. It's made by the same people who make Tokyo, so you can trust that it actually works with Tokyo and handles async await just fine without you having to think about it really. We love Rust. We do love Rust. Rust is great. There's some times where it gets a little bit frustrating. Axum is also going to get a major update soon, which is going to make this part no longer what we want. We're experimenting with headers before I record a video for it. Oh, thank you. I think I have a command for YouTube. You can check out the tutorials, meaning to look at you. Yeah, I have a course on introduction to U.rs. That being a front end framework that you can write Rust code in, avoid writing any JavaScript, and have a website that actually works, and does stuff, and not just simple basic HTML and CSS. It's we're coming a long way. Like Rust is starting to get there with web development and working with that. I'm so happy. It's gonna be great. I was joking though that a majority of the people that are going to be using Rust for web dev are people who really want to just not use JavaScript, and that's okay. Yeah, the continued growth. I'm waiting for it. I do. I've made my living with JavaScript, so like I can make fun of it all I want, but in the end, I still use it on my day job because that's where I make my money. So that's the thing. That's the thing. All right, so what I'm experimenting with here before recording the video is getting headers. So let's say we want to send a header of, let's say I want to get this user agent out. I want to see that it's this Thunder client. So that means here, if I have a header map, can I do something like let user agent equals headers? Well, actually, the first part was the typed headers, right? Maybe we should just do that one first. And so we saw that typed header is the thing here. And they're using user agent. Okay, and then we have headers user agent. Okay, so that's easy enough to use. So if I want, okay, so you are going to be, the way these extractors work are a little bit funny. So we're going to do typed headers, which you're not finding. Okay. Extract. Where do you come from? It's, yeah, Axum extract typed header. Wait a second. Wait a second. Did I forget? Ah, it's a feature. Okay. That's why. It's a feature. Okay. So if I did that, now I believe. Oh, and thank you, Isitsu. Right when I was figuring out the features, you let me know. It would have been faster if I had just looked down. Okay, so let's do typed header. This is a tuple type, a tuple struct. So then I'm going to extract out of it the typed header. So in this case, if I want the user agent, you just do user agent here. I don't need this at all. Then the type for this is typed header user agent, like that. I want to mirror this back. So I want to say that you're going to be a string user agent. Now, can I do a toString? Seems to work. So if I send this down, there we go. Thunder client. Okay, so let's update. So okay, create an extractor to get the headers. So we have a couple things here. So we have get typed, getting a typed header. extracting user agent. Header, but then after that, extracting a custom header would be the next one. Okay, so that's it. This is what we're gonna do. All right, so you're fine. I'm gonna keep you readme, but the rest of these I'm gonna reset. And I think finding where the headers are, so this is in extract. So I think a big part will be going through my documentation to then find all of this. Okay. Okay, so we got you. You're ready here. All right, let's I'm gonna do a recording. While I'm doing these recordings, I'm generally not responding to chat immediately, at least. If you put something in chat, I usually will see it, but I might sort of work it in, or I might just wait until the end of the recording to talk about it. This should be a relatively short video. It's going to be on just extracting and mirroring out that user agent. All right, let us begin. Here we go. It's important to be able to get the headers from any of the requests that we're building in an API. Sometimes we want to know what the user agent is. Sometimes we want to know, any other information that is best sent in the headers as opposed to in the URL or in the body. So in this first sort of lesson as part of extracting headers, we're going to get what we call a typed header, which is one of the default headers, like one of the headers that are actually provided for us in the HTTP standard. So I want to get the user agent header. First, before we go to that, I want to show you where to go find in the documentation to go, extract all these headers. I have previously opened the local docs, and let us go find Axum. Then I want the extractors. Extract. Then in here, common extractors. Okay, so notice that there's this typed header. There's also headers user agent here. That's what I want for this this video. We have headers header map. That might come later. And if we look down, it shows that to extract out the typed header, it's very similar to what we did before with the body and the JSON. So this is what we're going to be doing. Now, something that's really important here is to note that this requires the headers feature, because if we go and we try to find the typed header struct inside of our app and just use it, we're not going to find it at all because it's not there. So we have to actually bring that in. We need the headers feature, so I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to come down to our a terminal here, and I can install using cargo add. So I can do cargo add Axum -F and then the name of the header. So in this case, headers. That now brings in headers here. And I don't think there's anything else we need right now. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Our cargo toml has updated. So we now get to see headers as a feature for Axum. Okay, great. I'm giving it some time to rebuild from Rust Analyzer so it knows what things are. Let's go ahead and create a route. So I'm going to call this maybe mirror user agent. I'm going to go back to the mod and mod this. All right, so pub async function mirror user agent. We're going to do the normal thing where I'm not really building anything. It's just a very basic route. And I want to use mirror user agents, mirror user agent, and let's set up the route for this. We're going to do this as a GET request. So route mirror user agent, and our service is going to be a GET mirror user agent. Okay, there we go. Let's also set up a brand new Thunder client request. So we're going to do a get to HTTP localhost port 3000 mirror user agent and 200. Okay, excellent. Now I'm not getting anything back, and if I go and take a look at the headers, it is sending the user agent, which is this Thunder client. So excellent. Let's head back into here, and now I want to grab the typed header. So the typed header is a tuple struct, so we can extract that out using the typed header as such. So typed header, and I want the user agent. I close the left so it gets out of the way, user agent, and then we give the type here, which is typed header, and inside of here, we have to find user agent, and pass that in. That now gives us this variable user agent to use. I just want to return this as a string. So we're going to take the user agent and I want to toString it and return it. And that should now come back to me. Now I've already set up a cargo watch. So the server is still running and is this request should now work. Let's send it. And here we go. There's my Thunder client. If I make changes to this, I now get that change in here. So that is, let's review this really quickly. We had to add in the feature, otherwise we wouldn't be able to find the typed header or the user agent at all, and it might be a little bit confusing trying to find it. Second of all, we're using the tuple struct type to sort of extract out. Now, this is a very specific user agent extractor. If I want something else, like, for example, I want whatever it's accepting, we could actually go and take a look at what we have available here. So in user agents, what else we have? We have accept ranges, access control, age, allow, authorization. If I want any of these, then I would just add a second item here to extract that out. And it doesn't matter the order, it figures it out for you. So that's really cool. I then take that in. This is its own special type user agent, but I'm able to do a toString on it to get the raw string value of it. And then I just mirrored that back. So in a way, it's very similar to the other, to everything else that we've done to extract data out from the request. And then we put that back in. In the next video, we're going to be talking about what if it's not a typed header? What if it's a custom one? Anyways, I will see you in that video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye. Your algorithms class lets you use Rust. Oh, that's both. I can see that both as good and not good, right? Because certain algorithms are really hard. Or wait, is it algorithms or is it? Oh, it's data structures. Certain data structures are really hard with Rust. Like if they're going to have you do like a linked list. Oh, you're not familiar with web dev? Yeah, so web dev is super fascinating. It's modern web dev has been really uh modern web dev has been influenced heavily by the 7-factor app, which was a an article written by, was it Jeff Bezos, or was it somebody else at Amazon? It was somebody at Amazon. It might have been Bezos. But it's basically talking, it was basically an article like of how internal apps at Amazon were going to be created, and then a lot of people have sort of taken that in, and it has become the sort of framework, sort of guide for broken out micro apps, like microservices. And the general idea is that everything is separated, everything is small, and then you use HTTP requests between services. So instead of having a single monolithic application, use multiple applications, and when they want to communicate with each other, instead of just reaching into the code base and then calling a function, it sends an HTTP request to that service, it runs a function and returns it. Um, for better or for worse, there's good and bad things about that. Uh, but it's one of those like, you have to like. I would recommend like people play with it and try it out. There's it can get really tedious turning everything into a web app when it's like a tiny little thing. It's like, well, can't I just make one web app with like 10 functions in it? Come on, can I do that? But that's like the theory behind like why they have Lambda and why they have all these other things that are easy to spin up really tiny stuff. Okay, so this is extracting typed headers. The next thing is I want to verify that getting that other header is the way to do it. We can maybe just utilize that. We can, that's the wrong one. We can utilize body mirror user agent. I'll just also grab out. I want header map. Okay, so I think what it'd be is do headers is header map. So I want to return, let's say, this is x something custom. Hello. So obviously sending this, I just get that Thunder client back. So if I want to extract out the something custom from this, let custom equals headers. Can I get? Ooh, I can get. I want x something custom. That gives me an option. Okay. And then I want to, I guess, unwrap or default. So custom unwrap or default. Well, I actually don't know if, oh yeah, there's no default for this. So let's do unwrap. That gives me that thing, and then toString. Oh, there's only a toStir. Oh, which then gives me a result because you don't know what it is. Okay. Then unwrap you. Then toOwned. That's gonna be fun to do. All right, so if I do that, yeah, okay, so that's how I can get this X something custom. Okay, close you up, and I'll reset you. All right. Next step. Not sure what the type is. Can you use two-string lossy? Was there a two-string lossy? I didn't notice that. There might have been a two-string lossy. Also, what is two-string lossy? Okay, that now I have to go look at that. User agent. Let's grab in headers. Oh, it throws out all the non-UTF-8. Doesn't HTTP already throw out all the non-UTF-8, or am I thinking? Am I like super old school? Header map or place with a box. Interesting. Okay, so if I do that, so I want let custom equals, this would be headers dot get key is going to be like whatever. So let's say I do want to get like user agent, right? And I think that was user agent. Okay, so that gives me a option. So I'm going to unwrap. That gives me this header value so that the actual user agent equals custom dot there's to stir, to owned is sensitive. I don't see a two-string lossy. Okay, but maybe I can deref this. Custom. Yeah, there's just this to stir. I don't see a two-string lossy. So I think the original way of like turning it into a two. Yeah, even if I deref this, I don't really get any other options. It's the same exact stuff. Oh, you didn't. Okay, there's not one on a header value. It must be on one of the other values. Oh, I can set it as being sensitive. That's interesting. To stir. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Don't save. All right, let's do this. Well, we've gotten the headers out of a typed header, one that sort of exists on the standard. But what if we want to pass in a custom header to our backend and then handle that? Well, it's definitely possible in Axum, but it's going to look a little bit different to extract it. Let's go ahead and set up a test for ourselves. I'm going to open up Thunder Client. We're going to do a brand new request. We're going to do another get to HTTP localhost port 3000, and I would just want to do maybe mirror custom header. Obviously, this is not going to work. It's going to be a 404 because I don't have that route. But I want to set up a header here. Now, in the old days of the web, it was necessary for us to create custom headers with a leading X. So you actually might see some applications still using something like this, where you do X dash, auth token or something like that. That's that used to be how we could add in our custom headers. Nowadays, the standard allows us to do whatever we want, and you could just say you want that as your custom header. Let's do the x dash because it's more interesting. So we'll do x dash message maybe, and then here we're gonna have just hello world from headers. Obviously, still 404 not found. Let's go ahead and create the route so at least we get a 200 error. So I'm going to come into routes. I'm going to create a mirror custom header. RS. I'm going to mod that in. And okay, pub function async. No, pub async function. Function mirror custom header. And let's use that. Use mirror custom header, and let's add in a route for it. Mirror custom header is going to be a get to mirror custom header. Okay. That should now give us a 200 okay. Excellent. Now I want to get this X message out so we can then mirror this message back to us. So previously we used the typed headers. Now we're going to use a header map. So headers, and then just a header map. It's actually a very simple function signature here. We don't need to do any types or anything else in here. It's just going to be a map of all the possible headers, and we can extract them out. In fact, this map could also be used to extract out the user agent if you wanted to just have a single map and then get multiple headers from it at the same time. We'll also go ahead and return a string here. All right, so to extract out of this, well, it's very similar to a hash map. So there's going to be some like get methods on it. It is a header map, which is sort of a custom struct around a hash map, but they're exposing some of the same methods for us. So if I want our message, it's equal to headers dot, we can then do a get. And then the key, well, this is going to be x dot message. Now we notice this gives us an option here. So I want to be able to unwrap this and handle that properly. So I'm just going to wrap this here. In a future lesson, we're going to be talking about proper error handling, and we can unwrap it without necessarily crashing the system if the header doesn't exist, because that's exactly what would happen. Okay. If I do that, I now have the message, but it's this header value. If I want to grab the actual message itself, so let's actually change this name. Let's make this like the message value. I want to extract the data out of this. So let's message equals message value. Another thing we notice, this is a reference. That's not really going to cause a problem. We can deref and then toString it, or we could just toString it off of this reference. Either way is going to be fine. So we want message value dot. Not too much is available to us here. We don't even have a toString on it, but what we can do is a toStir. Now, we could still even do the toStir if we derefed it or we to-owned it. That would be essentially the same thing. Also, this gives us a result. So I'm going to go ahead and also unwrap that, as the error handling is out of scope for this lesson. And that finally gives us a stir. So I'm going to to-own this. Now we finally have the full string, and I'm just going to return the message out. Okay, Let's head back to our Thunder client request and send this. And there we go. We now have our hello world from headers. If I wanted to change this from X message, we can also do the user agent. And I extract those headers as well. So that header map allows us to get any of the headers that we want, not just custom ones. Anyways, hopefully this is helpful in extracting headers, using them, and then grabbing them throughout your applications. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. I realize I have not been marking what I've been recording. I need to do that before I forget. I've done two. So the first one was the extracting user agent header. So extracting user agent header. And then the second one was extracting custom header. Okay, so saved you. We're good to go here. Extracting a custom header. Looks like it is possible to use custom headers with typed header, but it doesn't look very nice to implement. There's an awkward trait and a manual encoding and decoding, so not something I would do. Yeah, I saw a method for that and was like, yeah, like you have an entire typed header thing that you can do in the URLs, in the function signature. Just do that instead. Okay, so that's these. So the next thing is going to be the middleware. I am very confident we're not going to get to recording that today because it's already 8 o'clock. I've got 15 minutes left, and I need to remember how to create the middleware because that isn't quite as obvious as one would think that it should be. So let's go and sort of like remind ourselves how this works. So if I want down here, maybe in routes, I'll create like a new middleware. And then where is that in our documentation? Probably under routing. Middleware. Okay, so see middleware. Applying multiple middleware. But these are middleware that were... Oh, is that service builder new thing, I think. Yeah. Commonly used middleware, that's great, but... Oh, wait. Cores. Okay, hold on. I need to add that in to the lesson. We can't do an introduction to a backend API without cores. I would probably be under routing. So handling cores. Oh, I guess it would be part of middleware. So apply middleware to your routes. Maybe that would be one of these. So set cores. Set cores headers. there'll have to be an entire like, what is cores and how does it work? Well, what did you do here? You broke this. You are assuming that we have where backend Rust Axum lessons routing target doc Axum middleware. Okay, so we're on indexed HTML and it's looking for tower HTTP. Okay, so that must be behind a feature flag. Axum macros, HTTP2 macros, multiple. Oh, I don't see a tower. I don't see a middleware or routers. So I don't know where that would be. Let's go to the actual documentation online. Okay, so if we go to straight to middleware, commonly used cores. Oh, look at this. This took me straight to tower HTTP. So I need to make this documentation work. I need to install tower HTTP. I need to install tower HTTP and I need to install the crate feature cores. Interesting. Okay, so they create a new service builder, new with the layer cores and service function handle. So we do a layer with cores in it. Yeah, it is. I would say that it becomes confusing when the documentation for Axum ends, and then you have to look into the documentation for Tower. But it's such a different way of doing stuff. Like well, not really. It's both. It's different enough of a way to do stuff that it gets confusing because if going into sort of like educational theory here, but if you're on Bloom's taxonomy, which is an educational sort of like where you are on the ability to sort of transfer knowledge from like one discrete thing to like a completely different task, if you're not to that transfer stage yet, this is completely useless because it looks similar. Like, oh, I see this, like, I see layers, I see like other things, it looks kind of the same, but then other things are not there, and it can get really confusing really fast. So, what I'm thinking is okay, so for cores, now you don't have any suggestions here, right? Is that the only cores? That's one of two. Oh yeah, literally the only two times that cores are mentioned are here, and we need to handle and show off cores. When you add middleware with router layer or similar, all previous added routes we ran. Okay, yeah. So we figured that out. So we're just gonna do a layer and then the cores. But to get the cores, we need to go in here. So we would need to install Tower HTTP and enable cores. Is it dash? It is dash. Tower HTTP. Oh, we need to enable cores. Yep. Okay. So I don't necessarily have that custom there. So let's say I want to do this here. So let cores middleware, probably just cores, equals. So we need to do a cores layer new. You're not finding it. That comes from Tower HTTP cores layer. Okay. Hold on. Tower HTTP cores. There you go. Cores layer. Oh, I can't do that outside of a function. That's why. Need it in here. That cores out for some reason. Like this is close enough in my brain to express and like node and like how easy like the routes and the middleware stuff goes that my brain just like, oh yeah, I could just put code wherever I want, right? And it's like, no, not exactly. Equals cores layer new. Okay, create a new cores layer. Then we allow methods. Okay, so allow. Okay, so we can allow origins and we can allow methods. Now, if we could do the allow origin any and the allow methods any. So allow methods. What are you? You're an array. So an array of method. Now that's Axum HTTP method. That doesn't seem right. This needs to be method HTTP. Oh no, maybe it is. Okay, so let's try it. Method get. Method post. We're gonna do allow origin and then all. Which I think was from this. Oh, it's any, right? Any. I do that. That gives me a cores. Then we're gonna say dot layer. I want cores. Okay, so far it doesn't seem too bad. If we open up a new Thunder clients, let's open up any of these other ones. So mirror the user agent. I get that. Can I? Okay. I want to figure out, can I see the response headers? Because that's really what I want to see. I want to see the headers coming back. Is that not possible? Oh no, okay. I need to make this big enough and then I can see them here. So here we go. Access control request method, access control request headers. So if we did an option request to it, we'll then see which method we could do. And if I come back to you and I take you off. Yeah, we don't see that. Okay. All right. Well, that seems easy enough to do. Probably have to go through the documentation to sort of find and then show that. I'm not going to git commit this. That way I can just revert this really easily tomorrow, but I'm going to keep this up to review. See, today's Tuesday. Tomorrow I'm not streaming. I'll be back on Thursday. Right. So yeah, that'll be even more fun. So Thursday we'll come back. We'll review this, remember how to like actually create the core stuff here, and then add that in as a layer. And then yeah, that's it for like a common middleware that's provided for us. And then next will have to be a custom middleware after that. So that'll be fun. Okay, so as I mentioned, I have to head to work. I do have that day job thing that I have to do. Tomorrow is Wednesday. To Wednesdays, I've been skipping streaming and instead going and doing things like riding a bike. So go basically doing something outdoors in the morning and trying to like keep myself from burning out and doing all the other fun stuff. So I'll be back on Thursday morning to continue recording these. We'll get some middleware stuff going. It'll be fun. So with that, have a great rest of your day. And I will see you next time. Bye.